Hear me?
Yeah.
How cohesive is your defensive unit this year, considering they were nationally ranked in some categories last year? And how is Demetrius's progress coming along?
I think defensively, yeah, we have to replace some guys, that's for sure. With Joe and AJ and Kenny and Demetrius and Darren. The one thing is we got, with some of the injuries that we had, we ended up playing some of those other guys. But, if you take a look up front at the three guys, and Darius, started last year and played. Quentin got in there and played some, Justin Anderson, and then, Keith Bowers and, Roman. We'll see how Roman does. We redshirted him. Andre won't be able to play. And then Nate Clark, we got to see who's going to come in there, at nose tackle. He's going to back up Darius. So I think those guys they'll do okay. And then, I think there's going to be really good competition at the Will linebacker with Marcus. And then, a guy that we haven't seen that we as coaches were very high on is Yannick Cujo-Virgil, who came from Division II school and had to sit out last year. And, now is going to be able to play. He's, the things that we saw from him, last year on the practice field, and then just, the kind of worker he is and everything else. We're really anxious to see him at that position. And then, we won't have Matt. He'll be out. Matt will be out there, just won't have any contact. Then, with Alex and Avery at that position. So I think in the front seven, you have guys who have played. Now what we got to do is get them better. But I think they all understand and know, what we're doing defensively, because they do have playing experience. And now it's just a matter of getting them better. Now when you talk on the second level, inside, LA's got to get a lot of work, and then behind him you got the two young guys, Abner and Brock Dean, who are going to get plenty of action there to see how they can do the challenge and be a backup, and then with Cole being out, then Bradley and Sean. So I think from the standpoint we got really good competition there. It's just a matter of who's going to win those out, and then when you get to the secondary, JJ and Dexter, both returning starters. But I'm anxious to see just how much better Isaac Boyne's going to get. I've been very impressed so far with what I've seen of Will Likely in terms of his athletic ability, his movement skills, in terms of the things that I've seen, and just how competitive he is. And then we'll get a chance to see a little bit more of Alvin Hill, who played on some special teams for us last year. But Alvin's a guy that has shown good things during practice. And then at safety, the one safety we got Anthony Nixon, who's a returning starter, coming back. And then the other side we have Sean Davis and AJ Henry. We're going to fight that out to see who can be the starter for us, if that can be determined during spring. So I feel like we have a lot of good pieces on defense. It's just now a matter of getting trying to solidify those best 11 and get them out there. And Demetrius is just rehabbing and trying to get himself ready. I don't know if he'll be ready for pro day, but he's working at it, trying to get himself better there. But I'm not worried about. I think our defense will be fine by the time that we have to play in August. And I think the thing that I like about it is, this spring, I think we're going to have great competition out there, and I really feel like, we're going to be able to come close to having a really solid, 2 deep. And as I said, I think, even guys who have started, they know that they've got to go out there and push and get better, because there's some young guys here that that are talented and have ability. And, all they're lacking is a little bit of experience. But like I said, it's going to be interesting.
What do you think of the free for all and how well
terms of the recruiting rules,
Yeah.
I hate them. I think they were all voted in without a lot of insight into what was going on. And I know we're going to try to get them all overridden, and so they won't go into effect. I was at the Big Ten meetings. All the football coaches were unanimous in that position to work with our presidents and ADs to get them overridden. And the same thing when I was on an ACC conference call, last week. The one where it says that with having somebody else doing recruiting coordination, people have already started to, they're going to turn this into a pro scouting department at the college level, where people are going to hire, director of player personnel. They're going to hire, 4 or 5 guys to watch film from every different region of the country, and they're going to have interns come in to do work for them. And so what they're turning it into is a pro scouting department at the college, level. And then the one with the unlimited calls to, got kids that are juniors. I just think we're going down a very slippery slope. And what the NCAA is trying to do is trying to make rules for blanket rules for all sports, and it doesn't work that way. As I was we had a meeting this morning with some of the head coaches here in Maryland. In football, I've got 9 full-time coaches, and if that one goes into effect, they're going to have to call between 10 and 20 senior prospects every week. Well, then they're going to be recruiting 25 to probably 35 junior prospects. Well, now they're going to have to call those juniors, because you're not showing them love, and they're going to get all upset. And so now I'm going to have coaches that are going to have to call, anywhere from maybe 35 to 50 kids during the week while we're trying to game plan, coach our own players. And then if I have 10, if each coach wants me to talk to, say, 10 of their guys that week, I got 90 kids that I've got to talk to. And so, when you try to put rules in to cover everything, you can't, because we deal with such large numbers as opposed to, most of the other sports. But then the other thing is that the added expense that this would incur in institution is going to be ridiculous in terms of salaries and everything else. So I just hope that they need 75 votes to send it back to the working group, and they need 125 to get it. And so everybody, a lot of the football coaches are trying to get with their ADs and presidents and overturn it, and then get it overturned, and then develop sports specific rules and regulations for everything. So I just think there was they had the intent of trying to do things, but they never got the coaches involved with saying, hey, here's some of the issues that you're going to have. So I think if they don't override and it goes into effect, it's going to be a wild, wild west. And then being able to do whatever you want with media guides and printed materials and everything else. I mean, the schools that, there's only a handful of them, that have all that money, that would benefit. So I would think that a couple of those, and hopefully at least there was 3 major ones that we were looking at, that all get overrid and won't go into effect.
Coach, third spring for you, but this is really the first spring where you haven't been installing a new offense or defense. Can you talk about the benefits of you're building this spring as opposed to installing and kind of reacquainting everybody in previous years?
Well, that's a really good thing, because I would expect that from the day that we go out there that the players are going to know exactly what to do. They're going to be playing a little bit faster. And they're going to know things. And I think any time that you can go in and you have people coming back that are going to be familiar with what you're doing, it it gives you a chance to get a lot better, fundamentally, technique-wise, but also to be able to, you know, put a couple more things in that you can do to take advantage of your skill set.
The first and third cable shot hour all along, how do you kind of see if it's a any situation developing? I'm sure you're not going to say you're not using as much like that, but it seems like there's certainly a much bigger question out there now than we're having in the first 2 years.
I tell you, I've been pleased with Dave Steinball in terms of you know what we've seen out of him. He'll be the starter there as we go into spring, and then you got Daniel and PJ and Brian and Van. You got those three behind you figuring out how we're going to, you know, who's going to play and those things. So again, they bring a little bit. You know, Daniel's more of a hybrid type guy, but I think we'll be fine though in terms of what we want out of the tight end position and what we can, you know, get out of them. You know, hopefully, I think we're hoping that all the injury issues are behind Dave now. He can remain healthy because again, he does have he has the skill set, catches the ball extremely well. You know, he's the guy that, you know, is going to have to be the inline tight end. And the same thing with PJ and Brian. See how they come along now as, you know, have a year under their belt in terms of getting bigger and stronger. I've been impressed with both those guys in terms of, you know, their work ethic and, you know, their competitiveness in the off-season program. And then Daniel, you know, kind of gives you, you know, a guy that can, you know, be a tight end, but also has, you know, really kind of like the speed of a wide receiver. So, you know, it gives you some added dimension there that you don't get with some of those other things.
Melissa can ask one of this question. What questions do you want to have answered about this team, pipeline, and this spring wraps up?
Well, the thing that I'm at, you know, defensively for me, it's just a matter of who's the top 11 going to be, and then there's, you know, then you put in there freshmen, you know, if they don't, guys that can come in and help. But you know, my biggest thing is this: the biggest question I want is for these guys to come out and know their job and to do their job. That's the biggest thing for me. You know, just focus and concentrate on doing what you're supposed to do to get better. And then, you know, like I said, well, like offensive, you know, we got to get 5 guys up there in the offensive line. And as we go into, I mean, as we start on Saturday, you know, it would be Mike Adaris, the left tackle, it would be Deontay at left guard, and then you got Sal and you got Evan fighting it out at center. You got Andy Zeller at right guard, you got Nick Clem at right tackle. And, you know, and what I want to do there is I got to try to get at least 8. You know, got to get at least 8. I mean, in center, I think we're in pretty good shape between Sal and Evan, and then you got Steve Gromer, who's, you know, getting better. But, you know, somebody, you know, we got, hopefully don't get better. Got somebody to open. Now, who can be the top 3 guards and who can be the top 3 tackles? You know, that's one of my concerns, you know, offensively. And then I think, you know, also offensively is to just find out, you know, what we can do with all the guys that we have, because I do think we have some guys who have the ability to make plays. You know, I'm anxious to see Joe Riddle, you know, this spring. And you know, Joe has got speed, and he's done a good job, you know, during the fall and now in the off-season program. And you know, some of these young guys, that's one of the things I'm anxious to see. Some of these young guys like Dominic, Edsall, you know, Malcolm Palmer, to see them now in situations where, you know, they're not being redshirted, they're not just out there working on the scout teams, going against, you know, the best that we have, because some of the things that we saw there. And then the other thing is we got to get our kicking game, we got to get our specials straightened out. You know, we got to get Nate, you know, punting the ball better. We got to get you know, Brad, you know, kicking the ball better. And from a consistency standpoint, you know, we'll do a lot of work this spring on special teams as well. Because again, I do think that we have some speed and athleticism to be really good, especially we got even some more guys that can return more than what we did a year ago. But you know, the biggest thing is for me is that we gotta be more consistent. We got to make sure that we do the little things right, on the field, we stay focused, and we don't have a lot of mental mistakes. And those are my concerns in terms of what I need to see get accomplished this spring.